Hello there guys, it's me again, UnstableVoltage, with another episode of How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft. Today we're going to be carrying on with looking at the machines from the thermal expansion. The machine we're going to be looking at today is the Magma Crucible. Now this machine is designed for turning solid objects into liquid. There are three main types of liquid it can produce, the most important of which is probably going to be lava, as it's an excellent source of fuel. Later on in the series, I'll be showing you how to build magmatic engines. These are a Buildcraft style engine that actually use lava to power them. If you have 8 of these engines, they're more than enough to provide the power needed to the Magma Crucible. The Magma Crucible will then provide enough lava from cobblestone to power all 8 of the magmatic engines, and there'll be enough lava left over to run a thermal generator, which is a great way of producing extra industrial craft energy. So this is going to be one of the slightly more difficult of the thermal expansion machines to build, so let's pop over to the workshop and put it together. Okay, so the reason I said this is going to be one of the more tricky thermal expansion machines to build is because to build it you're going to need to go into the nether, because two very important ingredients you are going to need is netherrack and soul sand. However, you can get away without the soul sand. What we need to do is we need to make nether bricks, and we're going to need 2 of them. Now there are 2 ways you can do this. You can either take 3 netherrack and pop it in the compressor. That's going to take a while, so while it's doing that I'm going to turn the power on over here. And the second option for producing nether bricks is with the induction smelter that we built in the previous episode. And what we do is we put 4 netherrack in the main slot and a soul sand in the secondary slot. Now this is probably the most efficient way of doing it, because with 4 netherrack and 1 soul sand we get the 2 nether bricks that we need. There's also a chance that it can produce sulfur as a byproduct. If we go on over to our compressor, the 3 netherrack we put in there has only given us 1 nether brick. So it's a choice of either 6 netherrack in a compressor or 4 netherrack and 1 soul sand in the induction smelter. So let's head on over to the crafting table. Nice and easy to put together now. The rest of the recipe is pretty much the same as all of the other thermal expansion machines. So it's a bucket at the top, machine frame in the middle, redstone reception coil at the bottom with copper ring at either side, and our 2 nether bricks go either side of that on the middle. And there we have our Magma Crucible. As always, I just pop it down in the middle of the floor, pretty much the same as any of the other thermal expansion machines, where it has several inputs and outputs. As you can see, most of the sides here are blue, there's one orange. We look on the interface, you can see we have power on the left hand side, and again thermal expansion, it uses Buildcraft energy. The blue sides are the input and the orange side is the output. It's that simple. Solid objects go in the input, get turned into liquid, and they come out of the output. As always, you're going to need to use your crescent hammer to change the direction or to pick the machine up, which is what we're going to do. So I'm going to pop it down over here. I've got a little space for it. Now this one's going to live inside, but eventually I will make another one outside and demonstrate the sort of perpetual lava and magmatic engine solution. But for now, let's have a look at the 3 types of liquid that we can make with it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reconfigure it so that the rear side becomes an output. Now this output's liquid. The good thing is it doesn't actually require a waterproof transport pipe or an engine to draw the liquid out. All you need is to connect the output directly to waterproof pipes. So let's pop outside and I can show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm now at the back of the workshop, behind exactly where the Magma Crucible is. I've built these little rows of stone steps, and that's just so that I can hide the pipes a little bit and I can access my storage tanks more easily. Now I'm going to be building 3 different storage tanks for the 3 different types of liquid, but I'm going to do it in a very specific order, and I'll explain why as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that so I can get at the back of the Magma Crucible. You can just about see it in there. There we go. And I'm going to get some golden waterproof pipes. Let's get rid of that. So the first thing I'm going to do, connect a golden waterproof pipe up to the back of the crucible, and then I'm going to place another one down there. You don't have to use golden ones, you could just use cobblestone or normal stone pipes. I am going to get my Buildcraft tanks, and I'm going to pop a few of them down on the top. Would like to go a bit higher if I can. There we go, all the way to the ceiling, why not? So, let's pop back inside. Now, as I said, probably the most useful liquid this can produce for us is lava, and there are a few different things that you can transform into lava. First of all, you can use cobblestone. Now, it does take a little while to get enough energy in there to be able to start with the liquidization of the cobblestone, but as you can see, that has now started. The energy is going down, and we are turning our cobblestone into lava. If we look at the front of the Magma Crucible, you can see that it is working. The lights on the front are now all lit up, and you can see the lava appearing in the little grate on the front. So let's just go back into the interface and wait for that to finish. Now, there is a storage tank built within the Magma Crucible which holds 10,000 millibuckets, so that's 10 buckets worth of liquid. And there we go, it took a little bit of time, but it turned the cobblestone into lava and it instantly sucked it back out, and the power is going back up. So, as well as using cobblestone, you can also use normal stone. Now, this is actually taking quite a decent amount of time to charge up the power it needs, and that's mainly because we're just running it off the 8 or so peak-fired engines we have in the basement, but when we build our second one and wire it up to the magmatic engines, this process should be much quicker. And there we go, we have turned the stone into magma. We can also use obsidian. Now, one of the other reasons why it is taking a long time to charge up is I do have multiple machines all connected to the same power source, and even though currently these machines aren't actually being used, a lot of them still drain power from your engines even if they're not actually doing anything. So the best thing I should probably do is to put the Magma Crucible on its own power source, but like I said, that is something I will do in another video. And there we go, our obsidian is starting to melt down. Now, while it's doing that, let's quickly pop outside. Okay, here we are. I just wanted to come out to see if we were getting lava in the tank, and yes we are. There we go, it is starting to fill up, and you can see now why I've built these little steps here, because from here it does hide a lot of the pipes, and it means if I want to go up and take a bucket of lava, I can do that quite easily without having to climb over blocks. So that's still pumping out lava. Let me pop back inside and look at the other liquids we can make. The crucible still finishing up that last little piece of obsidian it had in there, which I think it is just about done. And in this current version of Feed the Beast, the final option we have for lava is actually netherrack itself. The good thing with netherrack is it is harder to obtain, but it requires less power to be able to transform. And the netherrack finishes smelting and instantly gets sucked out into the tank outside. Now, before we actually make our second liquid type, I've come back outside to do another important step. We've already got one tank out here that has lava in it, so what I'm going to do is put down another couple of golden waterproof pipes next to it, and I am going to place another tank outside. Now, what should happen is, because this tank already has lava in it, anything that we now pump out will go into this tank here. So let's head back inside. So now we've got our second tank built, one of the other important liquids that we can make with the Magma Crucible is liquid redstone, and that is simply made just by popping redstone into the crucible. Now, as you can see, this actually melts a lot quicker than cobblestone and things melt into lava. Liquid redstone is used for redstone power conduits, which are a more effective way of transmitting Buildcraft energy. They're certainly more effective than conductive pipes, and that is something that we will be looking at in future episodes too. So while that's melting down, as you can see, it's not using nearly as much power as it takes to make lava. We'll just pop back outside and have a look what's going on. Okay, so we're back outside at our tanks, and if we have a look, we can see we are starting to get liquid redstone now in this tank. And the reason for that is because the liquid redstone is coming out the back of the crucible. It can't go into the first tank because the first tank already has lava in there, so its only option is to travel along the pipe and go to the second tank. Now, providing these tanks have at least one bucket full, or at least an amount of each liquid in them, they'll never be able to mix with something else, so things will always come out and go into the right tank. And this is also going to be the principle for the third tank, which we are going to build for our third liquid type. Now there's no point me building that third tank now, we're still pumping out liquid redstone. If I was to build an empty tank here, the liquid redstone would start going into this tank as well as the end one because it would be empty and therefore it would be a valid place for the liquid redstone to go. So let's pop back inside and wait for the liquid redstone to finish. Okay, so it looks like the Magma Crucible's still smelting away, and it is, so let's take the rest of that stack out of there. Now, the third liquid type that we can create with the Magma Crucible is Molten Ender. And Molten Ender is made from Ender Pearls, which you get from killing those annoying Endermen. Now, there's a very, very good use for Molten Ender, and that is for making Tesseracts. Tesseracts are a method of teleporting either items, power, or liquid from one place to another. So it's pretty much the same way as using a teleportation pipe, except you need to have liquid ender. So as you can see, that liquid ender is currently melting away, but it doesn't really have anywhere to go. There's a bit of room left in the pipe, which is probably where it's all piling up for the time being, and then eventually it will start to back up in the internal storage tank of the Crucible. So let's pop back outside. So here we are, you can see we actually have some of the green liquid, the liquid ender, in the pipe, but it can't go into either of those two tanks because they have lava and liquid redstone in respectively. So we're going to put down another couple of golden waterproof pipes, and we are going to put down another tank, and instantly the liquid ender is starting to fill this third tank. So that's a very good way, without requiring any engines or wooden transport pipes, to have 3 different tanks all connected to the same Magma Crucible, and providing you leave at least one bit of liquid in each of these tanks, whatever you put in the Crucible will always go to the right tank. So there you go, we have a way of producing lava from cobblestone, stone, netherrack and obsidian, which we can use for power later on. We have our liquid redstone, which we can use to make our redstone power conduits later on, and we have our liquid ender, which we can use to make our tesseracts. So there we go guys, that is another machine to tick off the list from the thermal expansion mod. It gives us some alternate options for power sources in the future, as well as the starting steps to make some new exciting devices on future episodes. As always, I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. If you have, please like, subscribe and share because it really helps me out. And of course, if you have any ideas for things you'd like to see in future videos, if there is a particular machine or item or mod that you'd like to see me build and demonstrate, either send me a message or leave it in the comments below. So, until next time, I've been UnstableVoltage, this has been How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye for now.